a lot of people used to say, "Oh, you left Ghana at your peak," and they're right.
How far does character play a role in that as well?
Whether or not you're going to get called back, it's not how good you play.
Was it the money that influenced your move to the UK?
Most of our people who have moved from Ghana to here, although they are living in the UK, but they've not left Ghana, it is easy for one to transition from being an instrumentalist to being an artist because you be around a lot of production.
Okay.
So someone like Koda was really instrumental in my production, journey. Music is very broad, and if you see it from just one spectrum, you're going to be broke all the time. So even the Bible says that learn to show yourself study to show yourself approved.
So last week I traveled all the way to the UK to meet and interview a role model of mine. He's called Mr. Joseph Wilson. He is someone that I really look up to. He has been an inspiration, one of the people who have inspired me in this music journey since I started playing the bass guitar. The conversation was very inspiring and motivational, and I hope you feel the same as you watch this interview. Without much further ado, let's get into the video.
Today, I have the privilege and honor of interviewing Mr. Joseph Wilson. He is a recording artist, he's a bass player, a music producer, a content creator. We'll have to talk about that. And a recording engineer. So, Mr. Joe Wilson, it's a pleasure to meet you. You've been an idol. You've been a role model from a very young age. I mean, before you came to the UK, I've known you.
You're making me feel old.
No. But there was this video that you did with is it Daniel Chum? I can't tell you the number of times I have played that video and learned, especially the solo and then the groove, because when I started, I was really bad at praises and locals. And those lines, I mean, I think up to today I still play some of that. I still play those lines.
Even me, I still play.
Yeah. But so it's been amazing. You're an inspiration.
Wow.
And so this interview is just to get to know you, to see how your journey has been from where you began to where you are now, and then what is next for you. But I want us to start, maybe, how did your journey into music begin? Where did you start from?
I would say family. I was born into a mission house, so to speak. So my dad is a reverend minister in the Apostolic Church, Ghana, way back in Ghana. So right from a very young age, I think from the age of 5.
That's crazy, 5?
Yeah, because my big brothers, I have 2 big brothers and 3 sisters.
Okay.
My big brothers used to play. My dad is a guitarist himself. My grandfather is a guitarist.
Also, the music runs in the family.
So that's where I picked it up from a very young age. I'd see my brothers, set up drums at home with those little tin stuff and be playing. And that's how I picked it up.
Okay.
That's how I picked it up.
But so, did you start with the bass?
No. I started from the drums. So I was a drummer. I was a very good drummer indeed.
I mean, we've seen videos of that.
I was a very good drummer. So I think my dad was transferred to some of the rural areas. And I think in the year 2000, we were transferred back to Tema again. And I think that's where it really picked up for me, because in the rural areas, I was like a champion.
Yeah, local champion.
And then we come back to Tema, where I was born. And you would go to church, you go to programs, and you see people, and you're like, hey, so what have I been doing all this while, So that's how it picked up for me. The competition, not really competition, but people were really good in town. And so it motivated me to also, pick it up and do more.
Yeah, about that, do you have any names of, maybe at that time, I'm sure there were people that you looked up to?
Oh, yeah. I mean, around that time, there were some guys in my church who were really good at the time. And I'll fast forward. I played drums for a while until I went to secondary school. In secondary school, I met a whole lot of people. And one time I was listening to Sunny FM, and I heard one of the hosts saying that they were trying to put together a team to do a concert, like an annual concert that they were doing. So I called, and I was like, oh, I want to volunteer to come and play drums, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I went, we rehearsed everything, everyone was happy, a young boy from secondary school. And then on the day of the concert, I was told, oh, another drummer is going to come, their main drummer. He was busy at the time, so he couldn't come for the rehearsals. And also I couldn't get a chance to meet him. And we went into the gig, we started, or he even came late. We started the gig, I played. And then when it got to the climax, I saw one guy walk through the door with his drumsticks and a dono, and he came. I was like, is that not Osei?
Oh my days.
So yeah, that was Osei who literally walked in, came and sat on the drums, and bro, that was one of the worst days of my life. And it made me feel like, bro, I should probably go and get cowbell and start playing.
Oh my days.
Yeah, he played. So I was like, hey. So Osei was one of the very instrumental people, because I used to look up to soul winners a lot, because we all come from the same church, apostolic. So I used to look at that. I used to meet him at most of the conventions and stuff like that. So yeah, Osei was one of them. People like I don't think you would know them, so I'll mention them.
This is for the world. You understand? So maybe
I don't think you know them. Some guys from my church, apostolic. One guy called Samuel. I don't think he even drums anymore, but he was really good. His attack on the drums was superb, and at the time, copyright, he was on point. Any song you give to him, he will learn it to the T.
Yeah, but then that would have been crazy, because at that time there wasn't any YouTube, if I remember.
There wasn't. So that's how someone like me learned how to develop my ears, because you would come to church, and some of the guys, older guys, were well-to-do, so they'll buy the cassettes, they'll buy the CDs, and they'll come to church and they will play it, and then we just listen and learn. So that's how we started learning. But when you go home, you might not have the CD, the cassette, so you depend on radio. So radio for me was one of the ways I learned songs.
Okay.
I'll listen to radio, and by the time the song ends...
But that means you were really fast.
Yeah, I was really fast.
Because radio, they play songs for no more than 3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes.
Yes,
max.
but back in the day, radio stations like Sunny FM, Sweet Melodies, they used to like play back to back, new releases and stuff like that. So they play the full song, they don't talk.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was the advantage. Advantage. You listen to it and you come to rehearsal and they raise a song, bro, we are on.
Okay. So then I want to ask, so since, you've been talking about playing the drums for this while, at what point did you switch from drums to the bass?
So, we had like a youth teens choir, so to speak. At the time we were all teenagers. So we used to call it teens choir. I was a drummer, and we had a bass player, like 2 keyboard players and a guitarist. So we did concerts here and there in our church. And then growing up, our bass player decided to pursue something else. So he traveled out of the country. And I've always had a thing for bass.
Drummers and bass.
So I think it was one of the services, I just jumped on the bass.
Okay.
And although I didn't know what I was playing, I didn't understand what I was playing, but I was playing.
It made sense.
I could, if you sing, I could catch the key. I could, play 1 or 2 here and there.
Wow.
So that's how it started for me.
Okay.
That's how I switched. So I realized,
at what age was this?
I was still a teenager. I would say 16, 17.
Okay.
thereabout. Yeah. So yeah, that's how it started for me on the bass. And because my big brother used to play, so
Sort of had.
yeah, I had an idea,
around.
and I really loved bass at the time. So
yeah. And then my next question is, at what point did you transition? Because there's a difference between playing at conventions and churches than getting into the industry. I mean, there are so many musicians in Ghana that can go from playing from church into the industry. So what was like the breakthrough? Who was the factor in taking you from church into the industry?
I would say my friends or brothers at the time, because one thing with music is that when you're diligent and you build connections with people, word of mouth, goes a long way to get you jobs. Do you get what I'm saying? At the time, like I said, we were a bunch of teenagers who were playing around. We had other teenagers from other churches who would meet sometimes at gigs, weddings, and they would all, jump on, play this one, play maybe 30 minutes, this one, jump on the next song and stuff like that. So, and at the time, someone like MOG was a drummer as well in Tema.
Yeah.
He was a really good drummer. He used to play for New Kind.
Okay.
So we went for one wedding. MOG was playing. He got up for some reason. They raised a song. I sat down and I played. That's how I sacked MOG from drums. MOG, if you're watching this story, I would never stop saying it. Yeah, so I mean, from there, I'd say when I switched to bass, one person that was very instrumental, his name is Abraham. He was one of our keyboard players. He also switched from keyboard to drums.
Okay.
So he was playing drums now, and I was playing bass in church. And then he got the opportunity to play for Neokind first.
So
he was playing drums for Neokind. And one Sunday after church, I was tired. I went home. I went to sleep. Then I got a call that Neokind's bass player is traveling to London that night, so he won't be able to make it. So if I can, and at the time I didn't even have a bass, so I had to get up, go to church, then find a security man to get the bass out of the church.
Was that the red Yamaha bass?
No, that wasn't. Okay. That wasn't. The red Yamaha hadn't even come into the scene yet.
That bass is iconic.
It's right here. I had to go smuggle the bass out, and then I did a gig. Thankfully, everything went well. So that's how I got into the Neokind band, and it was a recommendation from Sammy Krenzel, and my brother Abraham Gazy.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was my introduction to like a proper, industry sort of kind of gig.
Yeah.
And then from there, recommendations started coming from here. We did Daniel Chung, MOG.
And do you think that the recommendations was just because you were skillful, or because you mentioned it earlier that sometimes it's word of mouth? And in how far does character play a role in that as well? Because you can be skillful, but then if your character is, say shit, no one will recommend you. So
the thing is, you can't do this industry with a bad character, because wherever you go, no matter how skillful you are, even how you appear, how you talk, how you treat the work, people watch these things. Yeah. And whether or not you're going to get called back, it's not how good you play.
Yeah.
It's about how you're able to coexist with everyone around you and not make everyone uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? So I think at the time, I grew up from a mission house, so by the grace of God, I have a very good upbringing.
Yeah.
Shout outs to my dad.
What's his name though?
My dad is Reverend Samuel Okofori Wilson.
Shout out to Reverend Samuel.
So I think, based on that, I got called back. So if you're watching this, if you didn't get called back for your the gig you were put on the last time, check yourself.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might not even learn the songs as much as you or they would expect you to do. But when you show up, you show up on time,
the professionalism,
all those stuff, it really counts.
Okay.
It really counts.
Okay, so now we're running out of time, so I want us to talk about your transition from Ghana to the UK.
Yeah, just popping up to say that if you like the video that you're watching so far, do not forget to leave a like and a comment down below. Also, do not forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. And yeah, let's get back into the interview.
And maybe the experience. I don't know. I heard some stories about how you came to the UK. Maybe you can clarify that.
What did you hear?
That it was sponsored by a church or an artist took you. Yeah. So do you want to talk about that a little?
I mean, a church saw what I was doing in Ghana and they were like, "Oh, would like to have you in our team to help grow our music ministry." So that's how I found myself here in the UK.
Okay.
And the transition was a bit drastic because
yeah, because one time you were in Ghana and okay, he's not in Ghana anymore.
Yeah, a lot of people used to say, "Oh, you left Ghana at your peak," and they're right.
Yeah,
because at the time, by the grace of God, Felix used to play for Nathaniel Bassey now.
Yes,
who plays for Nathaniel Bassey now? He used to play for Kwesi Oting at the time.
Yes.
And he used to play for MOG, sometimes even Pastor Helen Yeltsin, because they had a band called Fusion.
Yeah.
And he had left. So there was a vacuum
to be filled there.
In Tema, so to speak, because Felix was really based in Tema. So there was a big vacuum to fill. And
now you were not there as well.
No, I stepped in for a while. So like I'm saying, I was at my peak. I was getting Felix gigs. And sometimes I would get calls even to come to Accra and do gigs here and there and stuff like that, but I left, so.
I mean, you just passed.
I left there like everyone would say I was at my peak. I was playing for Neil Kine, I was playing for Kwesi Oting, sometimes I was playing for MOG, and a long list of others. I was recording in most of the studios. I was recording with Babite, I was recording with Kewa, I was recording with Bossy G. There's another engineer in my area. I was recording with Osei.
Wow.
I was recording with a lot of producers and
really
engineers.
Busy.
Yeah, I was really busy. And then I had my church as well. I go to ICGC, so I was really busy. And to leave that and come and be stuck in a place, just one place, choir, church, choir.
How did it feel like? And what was the difference? Because I'm guessing that at least because of how busy you were, maybe we'll talk about that later, but then the income compared to when you came to the UK, was there a huge difference or did you feel that it was huge? Even though you were less busy in the UK?
Yeah. There was.
Yeah, because
it depends on how you're seeing it.
Yeah, I understand. I mean,
what do you mean?
Because I have some friends in the industry who, for example, every weekend or almost every gig they are playing, but some of them come to me and they're like, their income doesn't match the work that they've put in, and I don't know how they should go about it. I mean, I suggest that they can start doing TikTok or YouTube. Try to do lessons because there are so many ways, or go on Fiverr. There are so many ways to make like income as a musician, but relying on just gigs in Ghana, I mean, you'll be everywhere, but then there's not much money. So, was it the money that influenced your move to the UK?
It might shock you. It was the sun.
His son?
No, the sun.
The sun?
The sun in Ghana. Yeah, I didn't like the heat. I didn't like the sun. And I mean, I had a medical problem at the time. When the sun is very scorchy and I walk in it, I had nosebleeds. I'll have like serious migraines here and there. So, I mean, who wouldn't like to travel out of Ghana at a very young age? I came here at the age of like between 20 and 24.
Wow.
Yeah, so I came here at a very young age.
Wow.
Yeah.
How come I thought it was later in life?
No.
Because,
You
I
know,
mean, when you came here, it didn't take long. And then we saw that, like, you got married to your beautiful wife. And
So, at a very young age, if you're presented with such an opportunity, especially when you're leaving Ghana, Africa, would you take it or not?
oh, I will. Definitely.
So
Okay.
I took it and I came.
Yeah, but then, okay, before we started recording, we are talking about the music scene in Ghana and the UK. What are the key differences that you see? Maybe the pros and cons for Ghana, and then the pros and cons for the UK, so that in case any musician is thinking of leaving Ghana for greener pastures, in quotes, yeah, maybe you speak a little bit on that on record.
I mean, in Ghana, compared to here, you can say that here, when you're doing it professionally, and I'm putting emphasis on professionally, because many people say, oh, I'm a full-time musician, but they are not, I'm saying professionally. There are structures here, and if you put yourself in the right places, you're going to get paid. You get what I'm saying? If you join the right groups, the right societies and stuff like that, you'll be fine. But in Ghana, everyone is just like on the field trying to make ends meet. That's the only difference. And another downside here is that when you're here, and unfortunately, I have to say this, most of our people who have moved from Ghana to here, although they are living in the UK, but they've not left Ghana.
Yeah.
So most of the things they do in Ghana, that's what they're doing here.
Yeah.
So how they would treat a musician in Ghana is the same way they would like to treat a musician here.
Yeah.
But it's not the same. In Ghana, you can easily move around with the little you have. Here, if you have to move around, your train pass,
it's expensive.
your bus pass. I'm not saying Ghana is not expensive. It is.
Yeah.
Because living in Ghana, I mean, I've lived there. And sometimes when I go back, I see how some of the guys complain here and there. So if you are comparing both, everyone has its advantage and disadvantage. I would say that if you are in Ghana or you're in Africa and you're trying to move here to see greener pastures, there's nothing bad in doing that. But do your due diligence before you come.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so speaking about due diligence, now I see you are into production, and I mean, you are also an artist of your own. Now, that's one thing that I think a lot of people back in Ghana, or musicians in quote, this is not just Ghana, musicians complain about, because there's a difference between being an instrumentalist and an artist. Yeah. Because we look at the legends, Marcus Miller, yourself, Sana, I can't call you an instrumentalist because you're an artist in your own right.
Yeah.
Now, these legends, Marcus Miller, they are artists when you look at them. What do you think is key in transition from being an instrumentalist to an artist? Because then it also has a role to play on how much you earn, right? What do you think about that?
Well, for someone like Marcus Miller and the likes, you can call them like full-time artists. Me personally, I wouldn't call myself a full-time artist, although I'm an artist in my own right. I write my own music, I have my music out, and stuff like that. I wouldn't call myself like a full-time artist, but it is easy for one to transition from being an instrumentalist to being an artist, because you be around. I mean, personally, let me speak for myself, because personally I'd been around a lot of production, growing up. We used to have production rehearsals with Neil Kine every week. So he will come, he will bring us songs he's written. We have to put flesh to the music, create intros, create, like the full music to it, and basically produce it as a band, So growing up with such, influences, it was easy for me to pick up melodies, to pick up lyrics, to pick up
Like the techniques in production.
In producing for people. And by the grace of God, when I hear a melody or God gives me a song, it's easy for me to also use that same, technique to do it for myself.
So would you say that you started this production side of your career in Ghana, or was it mainly here?
I was meant to start in Ghana. In fact, someone like KY used to be on my neck. That, bro, you need to start this thing. But I didn't take it serious because in Ghana, I was really busy. I was playing bass, and that was enough for me. And that was making me, more than enough to take care of myself and sometimes even my family, So, but when I moved here, the church that brought me required me to
be more than a bass player.
Do you get what I'm saying? We'll finish church and you'd have to edit, preaching. That's how it started. You have to edit preaching. You have to,
Oh, so that's where the content creation aspect comes in as well. Or was it just the audio files?
The audio.
Okay.
The audio. But I was working, we had like a room where the video team and myself would work on like post-production stuff. And by the grace of God, the pastor that brought me also sang, or he sings. So I took the opportunity to enhance some of his worships, to upload on YouTube here and there. So that's how the production side of me, started. So in fact, it was very difficult.
I know, because I'm actually learning production now.
It was very difficult. And I'd moved here, most of the people that could help me, teach me, were in Ghana. And at the time, no one has time to come and sit down and be like, oh, let me call you on video for like an hour, blah, blah, blah. So most of the stuff that I learned was on YouTube. I did a lot of YouTube for almost like a year and a half. Yeah, I'll literally start a project. Sometimes I'll get frustrated. I'll close it, here and there. But the demands didn't stop coming because church kept going on. So you had to make sure that the worship is done. Or have you done the preaching? Or have you done this Friday? Have you done it? So I had to find a way around it and make it work. So I started it off, and gradually people saw what I was doing and people started bringing in their works. So I remember my very first work I did, I finished and I was listening to it. I was like, oh, why is this thing sounding the way it sounded? And I remember calling Koda. I was like, Koda, I need your help. I called Koda and was like, oh, Joe, don't worry. He made me send him all the files. He mixed it.
Wow.
And sent me the project template to use as my guide in the studio.
Bless his soul.
God. Such a man.
Yeah, he was an inspiration to all.
Yeah, Koda was that big brother, and it was a big blow to see him go. But yeah, so someone like Koda was there for me in my production. I'll do projects and I'll send it to him. He will listen. He will critique it. Oh, Joe, let's turn the kick down, increase the toms a little bit. The vocal, can you make it this way? Can you cut this 4K, cut this 1K from here? By the time you finish, you send it to him. It's like, this one is perfect.
Okay.
So someone like Koda was really instrumental in my production, journey. Very instrumental, even to the point where he gifted me this beautiful generic monitors, So we've really lost
an icon.
Honestly,
an icon.
Yeah.
Okay.
But may he so rest in peace.
Yes, may he so rest in peace. So I know you have to go right now, and I don't want to take too much of your time, but maybe do you have any last words for musicians that look up to you, that see you as an idol, as I did, as an inspiration, and also musicians in Ghana who are sort of like trying to find their feet, especially when it comes to the money aspect of music? maybe you can just give us some last words before we round this interview.
I mean, like you said, music is very broad, and if you see it from just one spectrum, you're going to be broke all the time. So even the Bible says that learn to show yourself study to show yourself approved. So you can learn to be a business analyst, music analyst, a music teacher, a music engineer, a gigging artist. There's a lot.
Also, as an artist in their own right,
there's a lot that you can do. So look at it from different aspects. It's hard to get out of your comfort zone, especially if you are known for something. But learn it, and in time it will pay off.
Okay.
Just like it paid off for me.
Yeah.
These days, I don't have to wait for an artist to call me to come and play.
Come on.
By the grace of God, I sit here and people bring works all over. And by the grace of God, we are doing well.
Yes. Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate taking time to see us, and it's been an honor.
You're welcome.
It's been an honor.
You're welcome. Thank you.